Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back for another thrilling installment of... Well, I don't know what's going on here. We'll think of a title eventually, but in the meantime, let's talk about something. I was reading the paper today there, and someone was complaining about traditional families and a mother staying at home and how that was somehow creating division and divisiveness in future generations. So, just to reiterate, somebody had stated in the journal, that the Edmonton Journal there, that families that stuck together in the 70s and 80s were in 90s, I guess, are somehow, if a traditional family, by that I mean like a man and a woman, okay, no offense, man and a woman and kids, you know, your typical nuclear family, man, wife, and 2.1 kids, whatever it is. White picket fence and all that. Apparently that was creating divisiveness in later generations in their relationships. I just don't see how that could happen. I think it's rhetoric at best, and just plain old foolish thinking worse. But there's a lot to that. What's happened since I guess the 50s. We're going to talk today about the mechanization of the housewives' days. Her appliances and whatnot throughout the 50s and onwards. Life started to get easier for the housewife. So she had a lot more free time to do, I guess, other things. One of those things being get part-time jobs, which is not bad. I understand the idea of getting a part-time job. I understand, you want to work, you want to contribute, and there's also something that comes from working. You feel a sense of pride when you do a job well done. It makes you feel good about yourself, so that's understandable. Absolutely. What started to happen in the 60s, however, was a lot of these liberated women, so to speak, they felt really liberated. Some women were never really happy in the traditional sense to begin with. They never wanted to be housewives. They never wanted to be mothers. They wanted to be maybe single, and through happenstance and the occasional oops, surprise, ended up, shotgun weddings happen, right? Shit happens, right? So they ended up in these relationships, and then all of a sudden, oh wow, they got this extra time and they can get out. So these women that didn't want to be part of relationships anyways, these are the women that led to the first women's movement, I guess, in a while, burning the bras and all that, which I really didn't understand. Sorry, I'm just a guy. Maybe one of you women, maybe my wife will explain it to me later by beating me, but I don't understand how you were liberating yourself by burning your damn bras. Because it seems to me a lot of y'all have problems, back problems, later in life if you're not wearing proper apparatus, right? So it's just beyond me how that works. I don't get it, but, everybody likes, I guess, women with no bras. So, again, if you were trying to get back at the men by taking your bras off and showing the supposed patriarchy, we'll talk on that, we'll touch on that in a minute. I don't see how that was being accomplished either, because, again, men prefer no bras, I think, I don't know. Nature's good, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. And anyways, so, moving along. So in the 60s, these women, they got out, they burnt their bras, and then a lot of other housewives that, may have got convinced. It's easy to convince other people, like, hey, look what I'm doing, this is really great. And then some other housewives that weren't happy, like, yeah, that's a really good idea. I think I'll move out too. And then what started happening? Divorce rates started to rise. For the first time ever, divorce rates were on the rise, significantly. And they kept rising rate. I think, they probably still go up now. I haven't bothered checking the statistics. I'm not that kind of cat. I don't believe in Google. I believe in knowledge, right? So you want to check out the statistics on that, you can get back to me and let me know if it's gone down or not. But I doubt it has. I'm sure it's just always a gradual increase. Or maybe people just aren't getting married anymore might be the thing too. Anyhow, getting back to that. So, it all kind of peaked in the 70s, 80s, I think, the divorces and whatnot. That's when it really started to really impact society. And Generation X was definitely impacted by that, because we grew up, latchkey kids to begin with. And then latchkey kids are essentially going home to an empty house because the mother that would have been home at the time, so you couldn't be left alone with the parent, the father. That was just, no, we're not giving kids to the dad. No, hell no, we're not doing that. I don't care if the mother is a crackhead. Listen, the father makes how much? $1 million a year, you say. Well, no, we're still not going to give the child to them. No, it's just not going to happen. the mother smokes what? Crack? Yeah, well, that's okay. We're going to send the child with them. So anyways, but, you know, so they left the kids with the mothers, and then you get my whole generation. We all grew up, you know, alone, I guess, you know, whatever. But I don't see us. I think when we get in relationships, I think we tend to keep them longer. I think that the demographic will, you know, I think my thing is correct in saying that Generation X has some of the highest numbers for staying together, you know, in relationships, you know, whatnot, compared to other generations, specifically baby boomers and yuppies, right? Baby boomers and I forgot the name of them, but anyways, we'll edit this shit out. Millennials will never get married because they don't even know who's the man and who's the woman. Never mind wearing pants, they're all wearing skirts. The fuck's going on there? I don't know. But anyhow, so it's good to return back to tradition and common sense dictates. Now, you don't have to be, you know, the woman doesn't have to, you know, stay home anymore. There's just as much opportunity for the man to stay home. And in fact, I did that for 10 years. I stayed home with my daughters, and it turned out to be a good thing. I'll tell you why. I got to teach them to be a little bit more assertive than maybe they would have got from their mother. Let's face it, women, I'm not trying to, you know, offend you, but as a whole, women are a little bit nicer, a little softer. You're all more around, you know, on the edges, which is kind of why we like you, those soft curves and shit, right? If you were as abrasive as we were and as jaded and you know, whatnot, we probably wouldn't like you as much, you know? Which is why some of y'all, you know, I hate to say it, end up turning to, you know, liking other sexes because maybe you're a little too rough around the edges and the men just didn't like you or whatever. It's not really my problem, but anyways. So you got to get back to traditional families and stuff, guys. You know, we got to start, hey, listen, if we're having more babies, if there's more of us, there's less of them, okay? That's how that works. Now, I don't know who they are exactly, but I know who the fuck we are, right? So that's what you got to focus on there. And, you know, try sticking it out. Oh, your boyfriend fucking, I don't know, he drinks too much, he likes to go out with the boys on a Friday night there, and he gets carried away once in a while. Oh boy, he doesn't come home till Saturday morning. Hey, that's not such a bad thing. The guy works 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 or all the time. Maybe it's okay for him to let a little steam loose, you know what I'm saying, ladies? And at the same time, maybe if you do stay at home and you're a woman, maybe you should deserve like a ladies' night once in a blue moon, you know, at least. But you should be able to go out once in a while, right? Like once a week, like a guy. And hey, while you're at it, how many of y'all are going on dates? So y'all dated to meet each other and start fucking, but then y'all stop dating, right? Because you moved in together, and then there's no more dates, there's no more magic. So maybe you guys and families, you got young babies and shit, find someone to take your kids for a minute and go on a date. Maybe get a, you know, little crazy in the back seat of the car at the park or something. I don't know what you're into. I don't know. Get milkshakes, give her an ice cream. I don't know. You know, but you know, think about that. There's a lot of shit around us that's trying to make us divided and make us not want to be together and tell us that it's wrong, it's immoral, and all this shit. You got to fight that stuff, guys. You gotta fight it, because we're being led down a dangerous little path here, which leads down a slippery slope. That slippery slope ends at the front of a rabbit hole, and we don't want to go down that rabbit hole. All right. So the simplest thing to do is pay attention and start, you know, thinking about things like you did when you were a kid. And just for the record, I'm not speaking to, you know, a lot of you millennials and shit out there, because quite frankly, most of you are lost. You don't know where you're at. You're not old enough to make the decisions that you're going to have to make. And that's unfortunate, because most people older than you were maturer than you at a way younger age, maybe it'll make much better decisions and whatnot than you people will ever make. You know, it's just sad. Generation X, actually, I'm going to live longer. My life expectancy is actually longer than a Generation Y, just because you guys don't feed yourselves properly, don't treat yourselves properly, and spend too much damn time in front of all these goddamn screens. Really, quite frankly, you know. So that's the way that goes. But, you know, folks, you gotta have babies. You gotta, you know, if you're gonna be a family, if you decide to go down that path, you gotta respect that. That's a decision you guys gotta make on the very first day. Hey, listen, honey, I'm pregnant. This is what we're gonna do. You gotta talk about that shit, and you gotta figure it out, and then you gotta stick through. All right? It's easy to say, yeah, we're gonna do this and that and that, but it's when you stick through with it. Okay? That's what makes a difference. And from the point you decide to be a parent, here's the main thing about being a parent. It ain't about you no more. All right? It's not about what you want and what you need. It ain't about what you want to eat, what you want to, you know, wear, what you want to watch, where you want to go on holiday. It's not about you no more. It's about your kids, okay? It's about making shit better for them. Serious. That's what it's all about. You're trying to make their lives better, okay? Because the world we're heading into is really shitty for these little boys and girls. It's a crappy little place we're leading them into. And we got to make some changes. You know, as Albertans, we got to make some decisions about whether we want to be in Confederacy anymore. Think about that. So, you know, there's a lot for you guys to think about. Don't let the crap on the internet, you know, in a lot of media, there's a lot of stuff in the televisions and the movie, a lot of little innuendos and things. There's a lot of ways, and we're gonna get into this in the next couple of weeks here. I'm gonna do my research on this, and I'm gonna cut some clips and edit some stuff together here and show you how you're being manipulated, man. How you're being manipulated with commercials. You know, all advertising is manipulating you to think one way. Movies and stuff, a lot of innuendos, even in your favorite show. Could be a great show, could be a show with Tim Allen in it, but there's still gonna be, someone's gonna inject some innuendo in there somehow. 13 freaking writers, it's gonna slip in. It's gonna slip in. You can't catch it all. And that stuff's there just to be an influence to you, you know. You look at YouTube and stuff like this here, it's, you know, it's always influencing. What I'm doing right now, I'm trying to influence you right now. I'm trying to convince you that, you know, it's worth it. It's worth your time to consider a traditional lifestyle, like, you know, trying to raise a family and stuff, and trying to build, you know, our country again. You know what I mean? Trying to convince you that it's okay if the old lady wants to go out for a drink once in a while with the girls, if the old man wants to go out once in a while for a drink with the guys, that's all right. You know, it's okay to be a guy. Hey, it's okay to leave the fucking seat up once in a while, man. Excuse me. I'm sorry. But you did burn the casserole last week, and I don't even like tuna. So, you know what I mean? We got to learn to give and take a little bit. Seems like everybody's focused on the media and stuff's trying to force you to think that women are living in this patriarchal world where men control everything. I'm going to snub that in the ass right now. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. The guy that you're with right now, what was he doing to try to get your damn attention in the first place? Buying you flowers? I don't know. Maybe he's an asshole, called you a bitch, and you're into that stuff. I don't know. It takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. But ladies, if it wasn't for you guys, we'd still live in freaking caves with a dog and a club and a fire, and we'd go out hunting on Fridays, and we'd fuck the rest of the time, you know, thump you over the head, and that's it. But somewhere along the line, we got respect for you, and you guys think that it's not a 50-50 thing. You got to really think about it, like, shake your head. Shake your bloody head. There's only men and women in the world. It takes both of us to procreate, right? So how can you say it's a patriarchal world? How can you say it's men running the world? Listen. Maybe if you girls that are so jaded and stuff started giving a little bit more love to the men in your life, and I don't mean sexually, I'm just being nice. Just being like a loving person, being a genuine person, instead of being so brash and abrasive all the time. Okay, you want to be gay, that's cool, but you don't have to be like a super uber feminist, you know? Shit, most people think women should have equal rights. Like, I don't know the odd guy that doesn't, but I do. I'm all for it. I don't think you should have more rights, though. And I think that's what you're trying to get, is more rights, and you shouldn't have more rights. It should be 50-50. And it seems like to a lot of people, a lot of y'all are just trying to push for more, and you're going to end up getting less in the end. And it's just going to wreck everything, because we got a whole rainbow alphabet, and half the numbers probably by the end of the decade here, you know, going to be dedicated to a group of people that don't want anything to do with that. Okay? And they're going to destroy it, and you're allowing it to happen. You're helping create it. So you got to think about that. It's detrimental to our society. Now we got people coming here from other countries, and you know why? Because y'all ain't having enough babies in the past 30 years, 40 years. Okay? Not having enough kids means we need to bring in more workers. It's just a common sense thing. You want to have a nurse when you're 60 and you're in the hospital for heart palpitations? Well, we're going to need somebody here from another country to fill that role because you didn't have enough kids in your 20s and 30s, okay? So if you want to avoid that now and you're a millennial and you want to avoid what's happening now, fuck like bunnies. Real simple. Hey, Trudeau, since he's let everybody in and opened the floodgates, he's giving out like a lot of money if you have a baby. If you have 4 babies in 5 years, I think you got enough money to put a down payment on a house in like a year. If you save that and you just work religiously, you're going to accumulate enough cash. You're going to be getting a couple grand a month. So think about it. What's happening right now with these people that have come to our country is just that. okay? A lot of them got kids under 5 years old, okay? And they're pumping them out right now as we speak, okay? And they're gonna be collecting a lot of money. A lot of money, what, $700-800 for a kid, you know? So think about that for a minute. They got 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. Use your heads, kids, all right? Think about that for a minute. We're screwing ourselves, we shot ourselves in the foot. So all you younger people, you older people, if you got the wherewithal, have a kid or two. Do it, you know? I don't know, adopt a kid, do something, adopt a kid from another country. I don't give a shit. But get yourself some fucking kids and be a positive role model for them and raise them properly, and everything will be a-okay. If not, you're gonna run into problems, and bacon will be illegal soon, and Halloween will be illegal soon, and you know, like doing anything will be illegal soon. It'll be illegal soon to have sex with your wife that's a female because you're not gay, you know, and that's where we're headed. It sounds stupid now, but watch, it'll happen. Your internet, for instance, get a VPN and check out how much different your browsing experience becomes. Try it out. Go to DuckDuckGo and try it out. I'm not paid by DuckDuckGo or anything like that. I'm just saying, just try it out for a week and see how different your news experience is and your media coverage and, you know, your general pleasure of web intoxication will increase because it's not being filtered down by Jerkstain Trudeau and his liberal caucus creeps. Anyways, my thoughts, not yours. We'll talk again later. Hello.